I was going to do this entire crossover. I had such ambitions to do so. And then I quickly remembered how much of a fucking waste of time it is. The whole thing is looking at alternative futures, which already feels like a waste of time. But then the overarching story that links it all together, well, it turns out to be a mess. They abandoned and screwed it up at the last minute. So I would honestly say there is no point in reading this crossover. There are some individual tie-ins that have some quality independent from the wider story. This one isn't bad, but never, ever, ever sit down and think to yourself, I'm going to read Apocalypse Now Redux 2001. This is Superman Annual 3, the first tie-in chapter to the crossover, and this one is not without its charm. The 3 Superman annuals, they are probably the most entertaining stuff in the crossover. Here is Superman. Pay close attention to this splash page because you are going to see a variation on this image in a few pages. This is written by Stan Jurgensen with art by someone trying really hard to be Artist Adams. The idea for this crossover was that in the future year of 2001, one of the DC superheroes would become an evil overlord called Monarch. This crossover follows a new character called Nova, going through the DC universe of 1991 and meeting various heroes and exploring their potential futures to determine who it is that becomes Monarch. It was Captain Adamant. Captain Adamant was Monarch. But then they did a 180 at the last minute and changed who it was and forever ruined this story with a reveal that it was Swaller from Spit and Swaller, which didn't make any sense after everything we had seen up until that reveal. Here is Nova, Frank Ray. His friends call him Frankie Ray, Nova. I have always thought of this guy as a fairly major DC character, but he's really only familiar because he always shows up in Stan Jurgensen stories rather than him actually being in a lot of DC stories. Here we get all the backstory I just told you about Monarch. As a Captain Adamant fan, not a month goes by where at some point I didn't wonder what would have been if DC stuck to their guns and let Monarch unmask as Captain Adamant. I feel it would be a death knell for Captain Adamant. He would have to die eventually, but maybe that would be better than Captain Adamant becoming useless and only being dragged out as a time bomb who is going to lose control and explode. Here is Lewis looking very sexy. Lois is a dark horse in the official sexy contest. You would not expect it, but she would come in and bring her A game, and she would beat out like Catwoman and Wonder Woman. So now we get to see a possible future for Superman. He marries Lois, but then Lois dies. That is a common thread in Superman's futures in this crossover. Lois dies. So instead, Superman settles down with Allison Mack. She's kinda pretty too. As promised, there is the callback to the first page. In this future, Superman starts wearing a modified costume that to me resembles the costume of what's his face from that comic where he was less interesting than Supergirl. You know, Imperial Guard guy. Without Lois, Superman becomes a bit more severe. He's not taking chances. He feels it was his lack of action that caused Lois to die. And we have all seen this story before somewhere else. Superman becoming a bit of a dictator. And you all definitely have seen this story elsewhere, because the other part of it is that it is a direct remake of Hank Miller's Batman Returns, with the two heroes' roles flipped. You see, the government and the president, they are becoming concerned about Superman's actions and how he doesn't answer to anyone, just like Ronald Reagan, the actor, and Batman in Batman Returns. And so this time the reverse happens, and the president brings in Batman to try and deal with Superman. This, it is a very intentional remake. It's not like that Ark who writes the Injustice comics, who just rips off from other things and thinks that no one will notice. This is blatantly intended as a deliberate twist on Batman Returns. It's kinda okay. It is entertaining, but it leaves something to be desired, since we are just a lot of the time recreating a story that we have all already read. I was more interested in, I wanted to see more of the relationship stuff with Allison Mack, because she looks pretty in this pink sweater, which seems to be the only outfit she owns. But another of the Superman annuals from this crossover provides the ultimate Superman romance story that I want to see. And I have had a few requests to review that one, and I will eventually. Spoilers in advance, I really love it. I do like how the relationship and the friendship between Batman and Superman is handled a lot more faithfully to the characters than it is in Batman Returns. They barely seemed like friends in that, whereas here it's clear that they are friends, and Batman is concerned for Superman as well as concerned for the world. Is it better than Batman Returns? Probably not. But there are bits I would consider an improvement over faults with the original. We also have an appearance from the Justice League, or rather the Justice League of 91, or rather 3 members of the Justice League of 91. Superman wasn't worth bringing a full contingent. We have the Vision, Polaris, and Booster Gold. This bit I am less crazy about because it isn't a very flattering appearance for the Justice League, and it doesn't really flatter Superman either. Sure, seeing them fight has its appeal, but what ends up happening is Superman, he sets fire to the Vision, and so the Vision dies, and Superman obviously didn't mean to kill him. But no, I didn't like my Superman being a sloppy murderer of his friend. So this is what causes the president to insist on Batman shutting Superman down. Here is an adult version of Robert. He has not got a boyfriend with him, or is telling Batman how wonderful it is now that he realised he likes boys. I am starting to think he was never ever gay, and it was just some weird woman on Twitter who made him so. But obviously the main thing we are retaining from the original story is the big Batman versus Superman fight. We have Batman in his big bulky armor versus Superman. This was actually my least favourite bit of Batman Returns. I think Hank Miller's action in that story, it is very hard to follow with his art. And I have little interest in seeing Batman fight Superman. This time, Robert is there, and he contributes nothing to the fight. Batman, he beats Superman with some kryptonite, and with Superman's defeat, it becomes clear to Nova that he isn't Monarch, at least for now. He will come back and test Superman 2 more times, but right now he is off to look into that Batman fella as a possibility for becoming Monarch. I read this about a year ago when I reviewed the first issue of the crossover, and I never got around to reviewing this. I felt I enjoyed it more this time, so it was a good choice to neglect reviewing it for so long that I had to reread it. The crossover is shit, but the tie-ins can be enjoyable. You might like this, you might get a kick out of it. I wasn't as into it as some people might be, but I would still say it's decent and entertaining. I give it a half recommend. 7 thumbs up.